Hello Lisa, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you'll be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of ours. You guys are the real MVP. So lovely. So I came across this video on my For You, and I thought to share with you guys where some particular people are actually seeing doing what they know how to do best. They went ahead to go to these communities to recolonize them. This got people reacting, and people were like, why are they still doing what their ancestors have actually done to the African community, guys? This got, me also shocked. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and let's dive into it.
Who is now born again, who has gave their lives to Jesus? Raise your hand. Wow, look at that.
It's like we're watching
dig a hole here
a group of people be colonized all over again. Like,
this tribe gave their lives to Jesus, and we're going through the
and they're raising their hands.
The part about water baptism. They wanted to be water baptized, and nothing was going to stop us.
Why?
So we took turns digging a hole.
This is not something to be proud of.
Night long, they had to carry water more than 2 miles.
And this white woman has
We were
dreadlocks.
ready for water baptism, and these
Not even locks. She got dreads. Like, what?
The presence of the Lord. And then they thought they were going to
They're using good
die
water
when
for
they went under
nothing.
that water. It still didn't stop them from getting in because they wanted to follow Jesus.
To Jesus? I wonder what type of Jesus she's giving them. Because you know it ain't the black one. Christians, and specifically white Christians, always feel that European and westernized ideologies will always be superior to indigenous doctrines and spiritual systems. This has been going on for centuries, so this missionary work that is still being done today is always at the core basis of our westernized and Eurocentric way of seeing life will always top you, so we feel the need to civilize you and introduce you to a better way of life. For whatever reason, anytime that I bring this up, that black people already had advanced systems into spirituality, into nature, into connection with God, this always seems to somehow ruffle feathers with Negroes. And most of the time, they don't even really know what's going on because they don't even speak English. They think they're getting support, and it's the very opposite.
What's up, y'all? I like my little makeup filter. But I was coming on here because of that clip that I just showed y'all. And y'all can go watch the whole video. She baptized them. And I don't know what type of water that was because the water was yellow looking that they pulled out of jugs. And basically, I'm wondering what that white woman doing over there in Africa talking to a tribe and trying to introduce Christianity. Because ain't that the same shit they did the last time when they enslaved folks? Huh? See, when is it ever good when white people go to Africa? They go there to poison people. They go to inject them with diseases. They go to experiment on them. They go to steal their land. They go over there. Like it's a lot of reasons why they go over there, but it's never good. And if you know a good one, then post it down there in the comments. But it's never good. So I would like to talk to the president personally. Somebody introduce me to somebody. Cause that needs to get stopped before it gets started good, what their plan is. Cause we already see what the government is doing. We got a hostile takeover going on over here. They done took all the laws and stuff, all the accomplishments and trying to change the laws. So they want to put people back in slavery. Okay, so now you got white people taking their ass over there to Africa talking to tribes and stuff. Like they did the last time. I want to talk to somebody.
There's nothing quite rage-inducing like watching a colonizer bring her colonizer religion to indigenous people. What she's leaving out here is threatening them with damnation and being burned alive for eternity if they don't convert. What she didn't show us is her telling them that they would be tortured and tormented forever if they did not worship her god. Persuading somebody to do something through fear tactics is called the fear appeal. Okay? Another word you can use for this is coercion. Making somebody do something through threats of consequences. In this instant, the threats of eternal torture. You male migrants just can't keep your religion to yourselves, can you? Yet you're the same motherfuckers who will get nervous if a Muslim steps onto a bus with you because you're afraid they're going to spread Islam around and force everybody to convert. You always have to have your greasy, unwashed, nose-digging nubs in indigenous business. And by indigenous, in this instance, I am talking internationally. Because this bullshit has happened to us as well, and it's still fucking happening. As you can fucking see. Special thanks to Hillebranch for bringing this video to my attention. I tagged him below, sent him a follow.
It was easy to colonize Africa because of our value systems. We were welcoming to visitors. Kindness was also an important virtue in African society. Unfortunately, the values that were held in high regard in African society were the same values that made Europeans view us as naive and inferior. In short, our kindness was taken for weakness. The same thing happened to the Aztecs in South America. After Christopher Columbus's first voyage, he described the natives as so naive, so free with their possessions. When you ask for something, they never say no. To the contrary, they offer to share with anyone. To European imperialists, being kind to one another, let alone strangers, was not a common occurrence. You see, by 1601, the Dutch had already established the first stock exchange in history. This also means that capitalism began to take shape in European society. In essence, it was every person for themselves, may the best businessman win. So when they set foot in Africa and saw people living in harmonious communal societies, we became targets, easy targets. And that's how precious minerals and other resources were siphoned out of Africa to build Europe.
Just bring up colonization, bring up slavery, bring up exploitation and violence, and suddenly they'll abandon their exceptionalism. You know, they'll say, "Oh, everybody did that." Suddenly, they're not unique. You talk about their crimes, then they're not unique. They want to make their evil banal. They want to pretend that every civilization acted the same way that they do, and that every civilization will always act the same way that they do. So they trivialize and minimize their evil as commonplace. And the irony is that then they say that the genuinely unique thing about them is their virtuousness and their respect for human rights and justice and fairness and all that. The same person who just shrugged off colonization, you know, who just shrugged off slavery and violent subjugation. But of course they've got it backwards. The violence and the domination and the cruelty are absolutely the most unique and the most distinguishing features of their so-called civilization. And their virtues are actually their mediocrities. They haven't innovated or advanced in values or principles or ethics at all. They haven't improved in these fields whatsoever, certainly not upon previous civilizations.
Have you ever wondered how Africa came to be divided up and colonized by a bunch of European countries? If you've never heard of the Berlin Conference of 1884, you're about to get a window into the very definition of audacity. Leaders from 13 European countries, plus the U.S. and Ottoman Empire, decided to hold a conference in Berlin in 1884 to decide what countries got to rule various regions of the African continent. Belgium's King Leopold decided that Africa was the next big territory that needed to be exploited for its natural resources and land. Germany's Chancellor Otto von Bismarck decided that rather than go to war over it, it would be much more civil to call a meeting with 15 countries to divide the continent up, like gentlemen, if you will. No African leaders were invited to participate. The scramble for Africa marked a 20-year period of pillaging, exploiting, dividing, and conquering nearly every part of the African continent to establish territories for material gain and power for 7 European nations. The audacity. By 1975, more than 40 African countries had finally gained their independence through war, diplomacy, and protest. But the effects of that decades-long siege had a devastating impact on the continent that is still being felt.
All black people, all Africans need to come to the realization that the creation of colonialism was not because Europeans are just racist, even though they are, It was because of capitalist expansion. You can see these Anglo-troglodytes dividing up the African continent. They went into the African continent to find resources, to expand their markets, to expand the people they can sell their commodities to, and to force the African population to work. The Europeans went into Africa and created money out of thin air through the forced labor of the African people. The African people were living off the land. They didn't want to work for the Europeans, but the Europeans closed off the resources which they needed to be able to live. They threatened to kill your family or burn down your house if you didn't, for example, go work into the mines. You went from being a farmer to being a wage laborer. You went into work and they gave you money. As they now control all the means for your subsistence, you have to give them money and they will give you products, which in turn will force you to have to go and work for more money, and the cycle continues. Slavery in the United States was obviously again for the sake of free labor. It isn't by coincidence that 13% of the population occupy almost 40% of all prisons and jails in the United States. They banned slavery in the United States after the American Civil War, banned, because if you're a criminal then slavery is totally legal. And to talk about the American Civil War, it was a civil war between the slave-owning class in South and the capitalist industrialists in North. Why do we think it is they were going to give the formerly enslaved Africans 40 acres and a mule? The people that feed you control you. Let me say that again. The people that feed you control you.
Seriously, lovely. Sometimes when I see stitches like this, videos like this, and these people, going out on this state of trying to introduce people to Christianity, like, I am not disputing the fact that Christianity, you know, is bad. Christianity is, I'm a Christian, right? Yes. But the fact that they constantly they have some group of people that they often go to. That is just what baffles me. Another thing that I keep asking myself is that, is it that they don't have their own people who probably want to give their life to Christ? Like, they should have their own people who are not Christians, that they want to give, they will want them to give their life to Christ. Everyone is just so quick to look for all of these timid African communities, to try to colonize, leaving the fact that even where they're coming from, there are some people who need to be converted to Christians. There are some people who still do not believe in God, who still not believe in. Why not start from your own people? She's having braids, she's having dreads, and like, oh my God. Oh my goodness, lovelies. This particular video reminds me of a stitch I put up here. I think that was about a year ago, where this pan-colored woman who was just practicing medicine, she was practicing it online. She is not certified. She is not recognized, nothing. But she decided to go to Africa. It's actually a documentary on Netflix. So she decided to go to Africa to help liberate these people. They call themselves that they were sent by God to come liberate these people. They decided, she herself decided to go to Africa to go liberate these people, and she became a minister. She called herself a minister, and so many, the way at which, yeah, these people use the fact that African people, or people of this descent, has this welcoming hearts, have this hospitality. When when you go to their community, they are so eager to welcome you, they're so eager to accept you. So they use that against them. They use that in order to, this is just how Congo started. This is just how it all started. They came, we are here to introduce you to Christianity. We're here to help you. Before you know it, they are giving you Peter and collecting Paul. They are giving you Peter and collecting your resources. They are giving you Peter to collect what you don't even know that you have. And I must also blame the government of this said society, or this said community. Like, seriously. So let's just not digress from the woman I was talking about. She decided to go to this African country. She went there as a minister. She came there to spread the word of the Lord and all of that. And all of a sudden, she also told them that she's a doctor, but she wasn't a registered one. She started administering some medical stuff to these infants. And this is how almost 200 infants was all, the end. Then when the case was just not bearable anymore, that was when the alarm had to and this is when the government have to come to place. And they realized that this lady probably have some psychological issue in her own country, but she decided to come to Africa to use the said infant ones as her own, pawn. Now, seriously, lovelies. And the same thing is happening right now. This lady here, with the way at which she wouldn't tell me that where she's coming from, they were all, or maybe none of them need to be converted to Christianity. There are so many of them whom they won't start all of this their gospel from their own, but they will leave their own, their whatsoever, their family, their father, mother, sisters, and family, then get their way to Africa to try to God knows what. She is coming from somewhere. She is probably coming from somewhere. And she wouldn't tell me that where she is coming from, those people do not need the gospel of God. Those people probably need it. Why must they all, want to come to Africa? Why must they all want to come to Africa to do all of these their shenanigans? Is Congo not enough for them? And every other place that they have colonized? Look at the water. Look at can she herself use that water to baptize herself? Look at just the water. Before you know it, these people already start having malaria and typhoid. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. When I saw this, I was like, is this still happening in 2024? These people probably are just living, they are living peacefully. They are just on their own. This is just giving the 20s, the 1920s. This is just giving the era at which they came to Africa to colonize people. You see that? Like, anyway, lovelies, wanna just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for education and informative purposes. So, guys, if you've not, if you've not subscribed to this channel to this extent, please do your girl a huge favor. I'm just so a little bit upset with what I just saw right now, so that's why I'm a little bit blabbing. And just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. Please share, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.